request for breaching equipment normally used by SWAT and hostage rescue teams to quickly gain entry into buildings was made last year because Patel had been unreachable behind locked doors, according to multiple people familiar with the request. Let me find out. Let me find out it was actually somebody that needed to breach an equipment. They had a real life situation and it was unavailable because the lemonade was too hard. You know, everybody involved in that operation be lying. They be like, hey, we did our first SWAT. We did our first SWAT maneuver today. Yeah. We thought he was being tortured because we heard snoring underneath the door. So we thought, you know, he was being tortured. That's what we thought. They wasn't letting him use the bathroom neither because I smelled that. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters and I'm troubled. Just seen Cash's night out from Gavin Newsom's press office. Hey, Cash, how Gavin Newsom press office got you off the Thunderbird? What happened?
Girl, did you guys see that article about Kash Patel? Well, bitch, let's talk about it. So there was an article that dropped yesterday about Kash Patel, and girl, they spilled the tea. They said this man be drinking like Pete Hegseth. They said he needs to go to AA meetings. They said this man's so drunk and this man parties so hard that they got to send out an ATV on his ass to make sure that he gets to meetings on time. They said that they had to knock down his door because he be so drunk. They said he's so drunk that he can barely walk down the hallways, that he needs assistance. They said he was so drunk one time that he got locked out of his computer and got scared that he got fired. Girl, they spilled the whole tea on that man. Girl, this man is about to be walking out the door. Girl, they're going to have to really call him by his name, Kash Patel, because that's what he's going to be needing because he's not going to have no salary. See you in Valhalla with no neck.
Cash, you can't even be mad because Cash App is actually your name. That's the legal. I know the right wing thing is to shorten your name and claim there's no racism. Nice try, Cash App. But more importantly, why is it they out here talking about you swaying off Mad Dog 2020 as the head of the FBI? What happened?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
FBI Director Kash Patel has alarmed colleagues with excessive drinking and unexplained absences. Officials told The Atlantic his drinking has been an ongoing concern across the government. He's known to drink to the point of obvious intoxication, sometimes around White House staff, and morning meetings were pushed later in the day after nights of heavy drinking. You mean to tell me that after all of the mismanagement that got us here, now I got to come down here and hear about them pushing meetings later in the day because you off a Ripple? Huh? Because you off a Ripple? I know. I ain't heard about it since Sanford and Son, but here we are. From Kash Patel, memo to the fake news. The only time I'll ever actually be concerned about the hit pieces lies you write about me will be when you stop. Keep talking. It means I'm doing exactly what I should be doing, and no amount of BS you write will ever deter this FBI from making America safe again and taking down the criminals you love. Now, wait a minute. Did the news become fake after you left? Exactly when, because you was in the media. So exactly at what point did the news become fake? Huh? Are you speaking from experience, Cash? Is that what's going on? No, they ratioed that post. You should see them comments.
You gonna learn today.
We got Law and Order PPU. Who is Trump going to fire next? Kash Patel chuckles, I'm in danger. Y'all had to make him brown. Did you have to make him brown?
But wait, there's more.
Cash App, we couldn't be happier that our FBI director and Secretary of War are both drunks. Oh, that's right, because you thought you was going to get the Pete Hegseth treatment. If he could go to work off of Mickey's, you could go to work off of Mickey's. Huh? And what did we learn? Wish you were this motivated to go after the Epstein clients. And then there's that. We got all this energy defending your relationship with Boone's Farm while we haven't heard nan word about Epstein prosecutions. How that look? Huh? How that look? Hey, you gotta be off of Old English for that to make sense.
How are you gonna get up there?
How you feeling, pal? There it is.
I'm feeling good. You know, I'm just adding a little bit of extra.
J. Edgar Boozer drinks down the truth. Never go full Patel. Arrest Epstein's or become Jamaican. Kash Patel.
Big bomber class before busting on me head. A sexy girl says she want.
Now, what makes this such nasty work is that prior to this report, you were already the odds-on favorite to be fired. Huh? So how do you think King Cobra affects that percentage?
Flashback.
Breaking, Kash Patel projected to be ousted as FBI director. 60% chance it happens before summer. Kash, you seen this?
Wow. Okay, I'm not gonna judge your journey.
Man, now I see why he was in such a hurry to celebrate with the boys at the Olympics. He knew it was his last hurrah. He knew it was. And he's been warned. He's been on double secret probation for a minute for all them flights to go see wrestling and mid-tier country performances. So, Kash, one thing I can tell you though, because this sounds bad, Kash. This sounds bad, but now you can see what your relationship is really made of. Because in the streets, they've been saying, hey, man, she taking advantage. She just here for all the perks and bennies. You remove the perks and bennies, and she see if she really love Kash for cash. Oh, that's not even your real name? In fact, just to make things worse, your replacement was already in place. They already put your replacement in place. Yeah, like when you make the switch over to Hurricane. And this still what we got going on.
We're coming back for some brand new breaking news. MS Now has just learned that FBI Director Kash Patel may be out of a job in the coming months. 3 people with knowledge of the situation say President Trump and his top aides have grown tired of Patel and the unflattering headlines he's been generating recently, including using a government jet to visit his girlfriend.
So they said that now that he has passed his 90 days of being in office, Kash, was you flying your girlfriend around and using taxpayer resources on your probationary period?
I'm aware that I'm under oath, Senator, and I have no idea.
Huh? You was on your no, because when they brought you in, they said you was on a 90-day probation, and you did that on your probationary period?
I'm not allowed to discuss it here.
You know? You was already on your probationary period just from being Kash Patel. I done told you that with the Andrew Bailey. You was on double probation. You was on double secret probation, and you flying her around. Hey, you signed up for this.
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you.
So you thought you could do as Pete Hegseth does. Is that it? We can have the rumors about Pete Hegseth, him getting accused of war crimes, and you get the Pete Hegseth treatment? Is that what you thought? Huh? Is that like Steel Reserve, when Steel Reserve thought they would get the St. Ives treatment? Because St. Ives did all that marketing in the 90s, got down with Snoop and all that. You Steel Reserve and thought you was St. Ives. That's what it looks like.
Holy shit. Did you see the Atlantic article? If you haven't, Kash Patel, he's in trouble. But I don't believe that this is a coincidence at all that they are releasing this article. The FBI director is MIA. Kash Patel has alarmed colleagues with episodes of excessive drinking and unexplained absences. On Friday, April 10th, the FBI Director Kash Patel was preparing to leave work for the weekend. He struggled to log on to an internal computer system. He quickly became convinced that he had been locked out, and he panicked, frantically calling aides and allies to announce that he'd been fired by the White House, according to 9 people familiar with his outreach. 2 of them described his behavior as a freakout. Apparently excessive drinking to the point of obvious intoxication, missed meetings, and unreachable at critical moments, raising serious national security concerns. Officials warned that morale inside of the FBI is collapsing, with fears of his leadership is leaving the country vulnerable. Of course it is. But Kash says it's all false. So on my 2.0 channel, I posted about the fact that Trump had put Andrew Bailey, hold on, I'm right, it's Andrew Bailey. So this was back in November of 25, Trump weighing the ouster of Kash Patel, according to sources. He was put in the unusual role of co-deputy director of the FBI. He also has no experience in the FBI. But here's where it gets interesting. Under federal law, Trump can install Bailey as acting director of the FBI without Senate confirmation, but only after Bailey has served in his current senior leadership position for at least 90 days. Bailey was appointed on September 15th. Under the requirements of Federal Vacancies Reform Act, Bailey could begin working as the acting FBI director anytime after December 15th and serve for the next 210 days without confirmation. So that is why you're going to be seeing the Atlantic, and you're going to be seeing people coming out and talking about this all of a sudden, because there's already an FBI director in place, in my humble opinion, allegedly. What do you think?
Hey, do you think he's ready? Huh? We a couple months past December. Do you think he's ready? Huh? They probably done already had them conversations in them country clubs. No, not that kind of country club. Not that kind of country club.
On my wrist, doing front flips, giving.
On Friday, April 10th, as FBI Director Kash Patel was preparing to leave work for the weekend, he struggled to log into an internal computer system. He quickly became convinced that he had been locked out, and he panicked, frantically calling aides and allies to announce that he had been fired by the White House. According to 9 people familiar with his outreach, 2 of these people described his behavior as a freakout. So, Kash, let me get this straight. You put that tweet out talking about all of the marvelous work that you have been overseeing as head of the FBI director. And by the way, you can take all of your crime statistics and put them exactly where you put Biden's. I don't know why you want me to trust that. When you threw the previous administration's crime statistics into trash, that's how that goes. So let me get this straight. So you put that tweet out about all the amazing work you're doing as the head of the FBI, but at your inability to log into your computer, you immediately thought you had been fired. How those go together? How those go together? You know what I mean? I don't know nobody that's doing a bang-up job who just thinks they've been fired when they log into the system. And by the way, how about the fact of the assumption that's how you would find out? Huh? How about the fact that's immediately where your mind went? 1, because you know what a job you've been doing, and 2, because you can't put it past them for you finding out like that. That's who you surrounded yourself with.
You done f***ed up, right?
Not even Colt 45 would do you like that.
I love you, and I miss you.
Patel oversees an agency that employs roughly 38,000 people, including many who are trained to investigate and verify information that can be presented under oath in a court of law. News of his emotional outbursts ricocheted through the Bureau, prompting chatter among officials and in some corners of the building, expressions of relief. The White House fielded calls from the Bureau and from members of Congress asking who now was in charge of the FBI. Yep. That's right, Cash. They said relief ricocheted across the FBI. Like when you find that last crazy horse.
It's okay.
But Patel, according to multiple current officials, as well as former officials who have stayed close to him, is deeply concerned that his job is in jeopardy. He has good reason to think so, including some having to do what witnesses described to me as bouts of excessive drinking. My colleague Ashley Parker and I reported earlier this month that Patel was among the officials expected to be fired after Attorney General Pam Bondi's ouster on April 2nd. We're all just waiting for the word that Patel is officially out of the top job, an FBI official told me this week. And a former official told my colleague Jonathan Lemire that Patel was rightly paranoid. Senior members of the Trump administration are already discussing who might replace him. According to an administration official, the two people close to the White House who were familiar with the conversations. My sources told me they was going to replace him with a 6-pack of Schlitz. That's what my sources told me.
I think that.
The IT lockout episode is emblematic of Patel's tumultuous tenure as director of the FBI. He's erratic, suspicious of others, and prone to jumping to conclusions before he has the necessary evidence, according to the more than 24 people I interviewed about Patel's conduct, including current and former FBI officials, staff at law enforcement and intelligence agencies, hospitality industry workers, members of Congress, political operatives, lobbyists, and former advisors. Speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive information in private conversations, they described Patel's tenure as a management failure and his personal behavior as a national security vulnerability. Let's see. Erratic, suspicious of others, and prone to jumping to conclusions. That sound like Fireball, don't it? That sound like fire. That's what. Hey, I've been there.
I said, God help me.
They said the problems with his conduct go well beyond what has been previously known and include both conspicuous inebriation and unexplained absences. His behavior has often alarmed officials at the FBI and the Department of Justice, even as he won support from the White House for his eager participation in Trump's effort to turn federal law enforcement against the president's perceived political enemies. Now, let's stick on that last point about his willingness to weaponize the FBI against Trump's perceived political enemies. In the context of this Kash Patel doing this job with these stories emanating weekly, what choice did he have? Honestly, like what choice did he have?
You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
Now I see why he's kept his job this long. He's kind of the perfect Trump cabinet member because he literally has to do whatever Trump asks him to do because in no other world would he be elevated in proper society.
He's right, you know.
I got a question. Which of the cabinet members is that not the case for? Exactly.
This administration falling like dominoes, ain't they? One by one pick me because Kash Patel, what do you mean that you need a battering ram to wake you up? A battering ram is a device that is necessary. A regular phone alarm, it didn't work. They couldn't get through to you, and you are the FBI director? And then we got Pam Bondi out the door. Kristi Noem, hadn't heard from you in a minute. Hadn't heard from you in a while, but it's very clear that these choices were just based off of yes men. They weren't based off experience. They weren't based on personal fit. They weren't based on the capability of them to actually even be doing their job. Because if you are getting to the point of allowing for yourself to be that intoxicated and you are the FBI director, what kind of work could you be doing? There's no way that you're actually fulfilling the duties of that position. But I can't say I'm mad. You know, actually, I'm kind of glad. It really ain't that bad. Why don't you bring a comrade? Yeah.
Are you sure there's nothing else you wanted to add? Huh? You didn't want to mix none of them lines like plaid? Nothing like that? Several officials told me that Patel's drinking has been a recurring source of concern across the government. They said he's known to drink to the point of obvious intoxication, in many cases at the private club Ned's in Washington, D.C., while in the presence of the White House and other administration staff. He's also known to drink to excess at the Poodle Room in Las Vegas, where he frequently spends parts of his weekends. Early in his tenure, meetings and briefings had to be rescheduled for later in the day as a result of his alcohol-fueled nights. 6 current and former officials and others familiar with Patel's schedule told me. Wait, how many? 6? 6 people? And let's also keep in mind, they not saying he be out there partying. They not saying he be out there partying in DC and in Vegas. They said he be out there partying at Ned's in DC and the Poodle Room in Las Vegas. How you the head of the FBI and you don't hide your ratchetry better than that? You know what I mean? How you don't hide your ratchetry better than that? Huh? I was hiding Zimas in my teens. They got you at Ned's in the Poodle Room.
Why are you the way that you are?
Don't let me find out you went to Dobermans. On multiple occasions in the past year, members of his security detail had difficulty waking Patel because he was seemingly intoxicated, according to information supplied to Justice Department and White House officials. A request for breaching equipment, normally used by SWAT and hostage rescue teams to quickly gain entry into buildings, was made last year because Patel had been unreachable behind locked doors, according to multiple people familiar with the request. Let me find out. Let me find out it was actually somebody that needed to breach an equipment. They had a real life situation and it was unavailable. Because the lemonade was too hard. Like the lemonade was too hard. We didn't know the lemonade was going to hit that hard. It hit that hard. We had to go to the breaching equipment. Looked like an episode of G.I. Joe.
FBI, open up!
You know, everybody involved in that operation be lying. They be like, hey, we did our first SWAT. We did our first SWAT maneuver today. Yeah, it was exciting. Huh, what happened? We had to rescue a fallen comrade. Yeah, he been down for hours. We thought he was being tortured because we heard snoring underneath the door, so we thought, he was being tortured. That's what we thought. They wasn't letting him use the bathroom neither because I smelled that.
This is egregious work. This is nasty, egregious work.
Some of Patel's colleagues at the FBI worry that his personal behavior has become a threat to public safety. An FBI director is expected to be available and focused on his job, especially when the nation is at war with a state sponsor of terrorism. Current and former officials told me they have long worried about what would happen in the event of a domestic terrorist attack while Patel's in office, and that they said their apprehension has increased significantly in the weeks since Trump launched his military campaign against Iran. That's what keeps me up at night, one official said. Now, a couple things. In terms of his general qualifications, we saw what it was during his confirmation. And at this point, I would like to call all of the GOP, House and Senate, but especially Senate, to the floor right now. Because here's the thing about glad handing and rubber stamping Trump's agenda. You have these people in place, which is all well and good when you're just trying to avoid a Trump temper tantrum. How does that look when they actually have to do the job? Huh? How does that look when they actually have to do the job? And that affects everybody. even those who knew how problematic this could be. You mean to tell me we got these stories coming out about the person who's supposed to keep America safer, and the only way he could keep his job because of his qualifications is to rubber stamp Trump's agenda, who people in his own party say need to invoke the 25th Amendment? This is what y'all did.
Really? Say, congratulations, you played yourself.
Officials said that Patel has been an irregular presence at FBI headquarters and in field offices, and that he's compounded the agency's existing bureaucratic bottlenecks. Several current and former officials told me that Patel is often away or unreachable, delaying time-sensitive decisions needed to advance investigations. On several occasions, an official told me Patel's delays resulted in normally unflappable agents, quote, losing their S. Patel has also earned a reputation for acting impulsively during high-stakes investigations. He announced triumphantly on social media, for instance, the FBI had detained a person of interest in the Brown University shooting in December. That person was soon released while agents continued to hunt for the killer. Patel's spotty attendance at the office and the eagerness with which he's embraced the perks and travel that come with the job have also been sources of concern at the White House. Some in the West Wing have followed the headlines about Patel's use of the FBI jet for personal matters, as well as the whispers about his love of partying, and that they fear that Trump would react badly if he were to focus on those storylines. DOJ's ethics handbook states that an employee is prohibited from habitually using alcohol or other intoxicants to excess. The department's inspector general has warned that off-duty alcohol consumption can not only impair employees' judgment, it can also make them vulnerable to exploitation or coercion by former adversaries. And Cash, you should know all about that, because they already done got into your Xvideos account. You didn't even have to crack open nothing for them to do that. Imagine what's possible here.
Wow. Okay.
Some at the FBI are concerned that Patel's behavior has left the country more vulnerable. One former senior intelligence official told me there's a lack of experience at FBI headquarters and that the turnover rate is high in field offices because of both voluntary departures and Patel-ordered purges. A current official described people inside the Bureau feeling besieged and disillusioned or even angry. Days before the United States launched its war with Iran, Patel fired members of a counterintelligence squad that was devoted in part to Iran. The director said in testimony before Congress that the agents had been let go because their work investigating Trump's handling of classified documents had placed them in violation of the Bureau's ethics rules. But multiple officials told me that they were concerned that the firings had been rushed and would leave the U.S. shorthanded at a crucial moment. And I would make the point here again that I made when I initially addressed that, is that if those were the directives of the prior FBI, you're firing them for doing their jobs. And you don't even think about what precedent you're setting moving forward, do you? Not even for a moment. I get why you wouldn't, Cash. I get why you don't even think about tomorrow. Hey, dude, I don't even think about tomorrow. Hey, they'll breach and get me if they need me.
Mama! Damn, Smoke, what you doing knocking like you the damn police?
Patel has publicly proclaimed that the FBI needs to demonstrate that it's fierce, and officials I spoke with said he's fixated on that image in private as well. He recently expressed frustration with the look of the FBI merchandise, complaining that it isn't intimidating enough. Fierce, Cash. Fierce. Imagine working your whole life to get placed in the FBI and fierce.
What's that look like?
Officials have grown accustomed to such behavior and they've learned to roll their eyes at it, but they said the absurdity masks real concerns about what Patel's leadership has meant for an institution that the country relies on for national security and for the safety of its citizens. Well, that, of course, would be assuming that the FBI was interested in national security or the safety of its citizens. It's really only concerned with the safety and security of one, which is why none of this, if you saw his confirmation, should surprise you.
It comes to the FBI director. Raise your hand if you were ever unclear that he was always on some sort of substance. Duh! He's got a drinking problem. Let's chat. The record, I want to go down saying allegedly HIPAA. The whole time I watched Kash Patel during his confirmation hearing, he never looked like he was sober. I'm not surprised. This is the equivalent of Drew being mad that her text messages were released. Girl, we knew you was texting that girl just like we knew he was drinking on that bottle. This is not just like hee ha ha because again, he is the US's FBI director. Okay, the man isn't just intoxicated, but he is like intoxicated and allegedly blacking out to the point where they have to conduct SWAT raids to get him. I told you I like tea. So according to an investigative piece done by The Atlantic, FBI officers had to request a battering ram be used to break into where Kash Patel was because he was in there drunk. Those of you who don't speak military or don't watch SWAT, this is what a battering ram is. So this tool has been being used since the Bible days, right? It used to be like a long log and then however they would do the handles. And again, you use it to try and breach fortified structures. Now in 2026, it's made out of metal. But what I'm saying to you is how much liquor is something in this liquor. See, Hoosers, while all of that is going on, because that happened last night, this morning, everybody is calling for the FBI director to either step down or be fired by Trump. Do y'all remember in Trump's first term, he went on a firing spree and they called it Fire Fridays. Literally every Friday, he was firing members of his cabinet. We're back there. So welcome to whatever the this year is.
I can tell you this, Cash. If you were the odds-on favorite to be fired next before all of this, you better get on top of it. You better say something.
I'm not allowed to discuss it here.
FBI Chief Kash Patel threatens to sue The Atlantic over report on heavy drinking. But Atlantic reporter who wrote the explosive story defended her reporting, telling MS Now, "I stand by every word."
So if I'm not doing my job, if I'm not working, then how is it that the FBI delivered the safest America under President Trump's leadership in the history of our country? And so you know what? They can beat their drums and stand next to toxic waste all they want, but that doesn't make it toxic waste. And Maria, I'm happy to announce on your show that we are not going to take this laying down. You want to attack my character? Come at me. Bring it on. I'll see you in court.
So you're going to sue them?
Absolutely. It's coming tomorrow.
Cash, that's the lowest self-esteem announcement of a lawsuit I ever heard in my whole life. I'm suing. No, I'm suing. Are you sure you're going to sue? Are you going to file a lawsuit? Yeah, I'm going to file it. I'm going to file it.
I beg your pardon?
Now, Cash, this is how you inspire confidence. Oh, that rider ate you up.
Lawsuit is being filed. What do you say to that?
I say that I am a very careful, very diligent, award-winning investigative reporter with a history of award-winning work across multiple organizations. You and I, in fact, have worked together previously. I stand by every word of this reporting. We have excellent attorneys, and it is a surprising statement, but a very telling statement, I believe. And I would also note, we reached out for comment to the White House and to the Justice Department, neither of which disputed anything. We gave multiple opportunities, including 19 detailed questions.
And here's another problem that you have, Cash, is if I'm taking you at your word, all of this reporting is false, and what, did they make up the sources, or did the sources make up the stories? Or did the make-up stories be made up by made-up sources? Like, I don't know exactly where you land with that, with your argument, Cash. But here's the issue. This ain't the first time. This ain't the first time. No, we've been hearing about this stuff for quite some time. And the Atlantic isn't the only outlet to run with this. Everybody else is crazy but you. That literally only works for Trump. And I have no idea why it works for him.
FBI Director Kash Patel denies accusations of excessive drinking. That's right. The Atlantic reported on it, and apparently Kash Patel is threatening to sue them. But the word is out of Washington that Kash Patel has a drinking problem, excessive drinking, and that he has been unavailable during times when he is needed. And apparently Donald Trump had a brother who had problems with alcohol, and it's a sore spot with Trump. And so the word is that, in case nobody's noticed, Kash Patel has been hard to spot lately. And, in the wake of Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem, it looks like he may be the next one to go, because these guys, this administration does not want this on their record. And more stories are coming, and we've seen footage too. Remember when he was with those hockey players for the Olympic team, and I think he had a beer in his hand and he was partying. I mean, he's the head of the FBI. He's the FBI director. And I think even Trump knows this, that it's got to stop. So don't be surprised if Kash Patel, within probably this week, because whenever these rumors really start ramping up, that's when things happen. He's probably the next one to go.
Oh, this week, that is aggressive. Well, one thing I can tell you is once these drips and drabs start to come out, they only intensify.
Now, Patel is the worst FBI director pick ever in history. He's the least qualified, and the man is compromised. He has a disease. He is an alcoholic. And people who drink to the point of inebriation should not be working in intelligence and national security. But it's not Kash Patel's incompetence that's going to get him fired, or the fact that he's a national security risk, or that he's doing things like, firing all of the FBI's experts in Iran right before we start a war with Iran. It's going to be the alcoholism, because that's something that Donald Trump is sensitive to. Trump does not drink. He lost his older brother to alcoholism, and Trump really cares about aesthetics. So as they write about in The Atlantic, after Patel was on video partying with the men's hockey team after they won gold in the Olympics, he apparently got a phone call from Trump expressing his disappointment. Now, in this article, they talk about how Patel has established some habits. He likes to get inebriated quite often, and he does it in the same place very often, or same places in Las Vegas and DC. And while he is getting inebriated at private clubs, that doesn't mean that no one has photos or videos of him in action. People who have witnessed him in this state, including people who still work in the Trump White House, spoke to The Atlantic about this story. And the closer people get to the higher echelons of the Trump organization or White House, the more paranoid they are. So they're always gathering dirt on each other. So I would not be surprised if a Trump ally is currently sitting on photos or videos that are compromising of the FBI director, and that those photos or videos will be released. I would not be at all surprised if TMZ is going out and trying to build relationships with staff at these locations that Patel keeps drinking at. And TMZ, unlike a lot of other journalistic outlets, they're willing to pay for photographs and footage like this. So whether it's somebody who works in the Trump White House who just doesn't like Kash Patel, or it's someone at the FBI who doesn't like Kash Patel, which is literally everyone, or it's a server in a private club, someone is currently, or someone is about to be, sitting on photos and videos that are worth a lot of money. So hey, if you're in DC or you're in Vegas and you're looking for a way to serve your country and you also need a job, I don't know, why don't you check out one of those clubs?
Hey, y'all better play it close to the vest. You better play it close to the vest, Kash. Not like you did at the Olympics, where that got out. Like you better be a lot more buttoned up than it was at the Olympics. You know what I mean? Next thing we know, we got footage coming out of you out here looking like Steve Bannon. You saw it. A clip of Steve Bannon, which what appears to be on his pants, is going viral.
Thank you, sir.
I want to thank my agent.
So I was just thinking, we were here a year ago, talking about the administration, talking about MAGA.
Nobody told you before you went on stage? They don't love you, Steve Bannon. That ain't love. They let you go out there like that. That's nuts. Hey, it fits with this administration. Now, I can't tell you that. The FBI guy is on a paranoid bender and won't leave his room. The war guy quotes Bible passages from Pulp Fiction. The health guy collects Raccoon D. It's idiocracy on steroids. Hey, but on the bright side, Cash, at least they haven't given you the Lego treatment. There they go. Got him. They work fast, don't they?
Yeah, Kash Patel name on the bag.
Why they do the eyes like that? Lego don't even make eyes like that. They got special made eyes for the Legos.
Set burn it down, set clear fast. Now you run what you used to trash. Built that image, sold that fight. Camera hit, you lost that light.
He can't even close those eyes. He can't even. His eyes only close halfway. The detail is crazy.
Bang, better ram, hit the door. Drunk, you laid on the floor. Yeah. Bang, bang, hear the sound, break it down.
Did he just put that on his nose? That's accurate. I've been there. I've been there before.
Late night spin, can't stand straight. Just not too damn late. Knock, still no reply. Top seat silent. Wonder why. Bring the ram, break that frame. Top of power, still the same.
Hey, where it? Cash, is this Nads? Is this Nads or the poodle room? Hit me up.
You said you take it all down. Now you're lost in the sound. You said you stand your ground.
Has he commented on this yet? Has he said anything? Y'all can't find him? Well, get the breaching equipment.
Drunk, you laid on the floor. Yeah. Bang, bang, hear the sound, break it down.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one.